My name's Liz Buckle. I'm aged 50. My thalidomide condition is, as you can see, short arms. I've also got incomplete shoulders, so that makes what I do have in my arms quite weak. I live on an island called Lismore on the west coast of Scotland. I haven't always lived there. I've moved around a lot, especially for my working life. My career was 24 years working firstly in the conservation world, giving conservation advice and assessing land management situations. And then I went on to more special projects later on in my career. I moved around a lot, setting up and managing projects in different parts of the country. I started off in the public sector working for a government agency. I then moved to doing more short-term projects and they were for a variety of companies and people or partnerships. Often it was actually bringing lots of people together who wanted to work on a certain theme. So I was sort of facilitator of that. My working day would have been a mixture of perhaps going out on the site, walking the land, finding out what it needs, talking to a farmer or somebody who was going to do something, like build a new development on it. I also managed a team of people. Through most of my work, I drove myself in a car, an unadapted car. Some years I did as much as 30,000 miles a year. Driving to meetings and site visits and all sorts of things like that. It's actually the driving and working the computer turned out to be the major strain. And as time went on, that became more and more physically demanding of me. I actually got very, very sick. My back pain was extraordinary. I used to sort of come home from work, come in the door, perhaps make the dinner, but then I would spend the entire evening laid flat on the floor, absolutely exhausted and absolutely aching from head to toe. I was taking a lot of painkillers, and I was often physically sick by the end of the day because I was reacting badly to all these painkillers. So I knew I was struggling in those last few years particularly, but I wasn't quite sure why. And I started discussing this issue with other thalidomiders and the people in the Thalidomide Trust. I realised I wasn't alone. I was not the only one having these problems. And at first, actually, I thought it was something like multiple sclerosis. I had many of the symptoms that an MS sufferer has. But in fact, it's turned out to be wear and tear symptoms, common to all of us thalidomiders. It was at the age of 44 that I decided to stop working. It was devastating at first. I was absolutely gutted. I did not want to give up my work. I love my work. I got a lot of fulfilment out of it. I had never actually envisaged giving up so early. I thought perhaps I might have to give up a bit earlier than normal people, but not that early. I was in a managerial position, so therefore I was earning quite a decent salary. And then suddenly, bang, that stopped. The retirement pension and the benefits I now get are about a third of my earned income when I was in work. There are other things that I've lost through giving up work, like work gave me a car, provided entirely for my use with all the mileage paid for. But the psychological impacts were much greater than I expected on my self-esteem. I lost a huge amount of confidence. For a couple of years, I think I could probably say that I had had a breakdown. I was really finding it difficult to feel positively about anything. I was feeling guilty for not working. People were saying, "Oh, come on, Liz, you've done lots of great things. You shouldn't feel guilty now." But I did, and I felt as though I had to sort of constantly justify my existence. Giving up work has been the first time I've had to give up. I am weak. I can't do all the things I want to do, and I do feel a sense of resentment and failure. Yeah, I find it quite tough, to be honest. I do. I don't want to be in this situation, really. Now I've got more time to myself. I do some nice things. I've learned to do canoeing and sailing. I do a lot of arty type things. I've learned to paint. So yeah, I am enjoying my newfound freedom. I guess I would have just liked to have had the choice of you know, directing when that would have happened rather than my body telling me when I had to stop, and doing it in such a violent way, really. You know, it was a pretty bad breakdown, but you know, I'm making the most of it now.